Hi, girlies. Welcome to Book Please podcast. It's Alina here.
Hey guys, it's Amanda.
How have the last few days been for you, Queen?
Weekend was good. I was looking forward to St. Patty's Day. It's one of my favorite days ever, mostly because of food. Like I love corned beef and cabbage, and I know places serve it like at least this day. So I was in heaven. What about you?
Okay, I did not have the luck of the Irish this past weekend.
Sadly.
Not that I'm not that I'm Irish, but literally on St. Patty's Day, I on a whim went to play pickleball and I was supposed to be in yoga and they locked the door on me. They have to stop doing that. They like lock the doors 5 minutes before class and it gets me so pissed. Anyways, so I was like, fine, I'll go play pickleball. Wasn't even supposed to play. And I go to play pickleball and I'm really into it. And I'm absolutely a star on the court. Like, you guys have no idea. So I was so dedicated, so into it. And I like launched myself to go get this ball. And my shoe, I will say this, like, you know how we are, like, we're in cute outfits. We're not really in like outfits that we're supposed to be in for like sport. So I wasn't wearing proper sneakers. They were like aesthetic sneakers and they had no support. And I just kind of like my foot shifted forward, but like my sneaker was all fabric. So my foot kind of went forward, but my shoe didn't move with me. So it kind of like jerked forward a little bit in my shoe. And I hurt my foot so bad. Like I am completely injured. I'm on crutches. Like I had to go to urgent care. Like it was so bad.
Oh, yeah, I feel like your weekend wasn't, and poor Cash. Oh, you're just having a hell of a weekend.
I know. And my son was at the vet. You know what's funny? I tried to play it off too because I was like, there's no way I just fucking got hurt at pickleball. You know, like my pride wouldn't let me. And I was like, it's the shoe, it's the shoe. Like, you know, and it was, but still, like, it's embarrassing.
Yeah, it
So
was
I'm
a
like,
shoe, but it's not a
yeah,
typical
it
sport.
doesn't
Yeah.
matter. So I'm like, I'm trying to keep going. And I'm like, girl, you're not well. And I was like, I don't know if my body was like in a shock response, but like I started to get like lightheaded. I felt something tear under my foot. Like I felt it rip. And I was like, oh, that's not good. And I just kept trying to walk. I was like, no, I can do it. And I stayed on the court for like another couple plays. And then I was like on the ground.
I bet you're not going to play pickleball for a while.
You know, I really want to. Like, I want to redeem myself.
Oh, well, pickleball's been fun. We played for the first time together. So that
Yes.
was, I'm trying, but I feel like I have a very heavy hand or heavy hit, I would say. So
Yeah.
so pickleball, the court's super small. So I like fling that thing and it's always out the line. It's like always out. Oh, sorry. It's like, it never stays in. I'm just like, I mean, at least I made contact with the ball, but that's about it.
I know. And I was saying too, like we were joking when we were playing, like we're just too strong, you know. The courts are not that big either. You have to get used to them, especially if you're used to like a tennis-sized court. It's rather small.
Yeah. And then I also learned, so I was playing recently, I want to say last week, and I was playing with my boyfriend, and then this two girls came up and like, okay, we're playing with you guys. And we're like, sure. And these girls were like pros. The girls, like, my dad plays pickleball. Like, he's like, you know, in one of those champion sport travel team. And I'm just like, oh God, here we go. So they just totally beat us, but it was fun, and they were teaching us a lot of things. Like, did you
Yeah.
know there's two different color balls? Like, there's ones that are for indoor and outdoor. So the whole time I'm using an indoor ball, not knowing that.
Oh,
So she let me
yes,
know.
I did know that. I made sure that I bought the outdoor balls, but that's so funny.
Smart.
I really wonder what is the difference. Oh, when the way it
It's
hits
the
the
holes.
cord.
It's the hole size too. Like I can
Oh,
see it now that I have them next to each other. But I was just like, she's like, yeah, girl, no, that's not the right ball. And I'm like, what do you mean? I got it on Amazon. How
oh
is
my God. Yeah, you're like, hello, God sent it. It's Amazon.
it?
That's so funny. And for me, I don't know what it is, but ever since that game, like, and I'm dying to go back, but like when I went after the doctor, he was like, just, you know, just see how it is after a few days. You could go get an MRI. Like, I don't really know yet if anything's torn. But when he like gave me the crutches it's like I refuse to admit that I'm on crutches or like that I need that. I've never had, have you ever had crutches or been on crutches?
No, never. But I would totally milk it if I needed it.
True, true. But like I work from home, so what is that going to get me out of?
That's true.
I literally was like, I'm not doing this. Like I don't know what it is. Like I'm like, no, but I can walk. Like I just have to stay off it. But like really I couldn't, like at all.
Mhm.
And when I was younger, I always wanted to be on crutches. Like I thought they were cool.
What?
I
That's like
did.
me
I
with
was like, they look
braces.
like fun. I know
Yeah.
you're so crazy for that. That's you with braces.
I
I
know, but
was
everyone else had them, and they had the cute little like rubber
colors.
bands that were colors. Yeah, and I'm just like, and there's me. My teeth are perfect. That sucks.
Yeah, like at 32 years old, I'm on crutches. Like, no, this is not happening. So I started now just walking around and I'll eventually like now I can I can kind of gimp around like or I'll use one to like guide my foot and I'm like walking my son like Cash and I go out for a while like how am I going to take my dog out, you know?
Yeah,
So I just had to be like no, I can walk. Like I just was like no. I
but don't
just was
make
like
it worse.
I know. I've been icing, I've been doing, but what
Good.
I did discover was while I can't really walk, I can swim perfectly.
Mm.
And you know us, like the first thought when we get hurt is like, fuck, we can't go to the gym.
Oh, devastating.
So I was devastated. And then I laid out one day and I was like, okay, like let me try going in the water. And for rehab patients, like this is what they do for recovery. Like they tell them to swim. So I was like, maybe I can swim. I can't walk, but I can swim perfectly, girl. So I was like doing laps back and forth. I was like, this will be my cardio for the day. And I've done it now a couple days in a row
Hmm.
as my workout. And let me tell you, like it feels amazing. Like I get off of work and I jump in the pool and I'm like, this is therapeutic. And I feel
Living the
like in a
life.
better mood. And I'm like, okay, I don't mind it. I don't
Oh,
mind it.
good. See, at
Yeah.
least you get to like best of both worlds. You know, you can lay by the pool and work out a little bit.
Yes, exactly.
Aw. Well, I'm happy you're feeling better each day, not worse.
Thanks. I'm gonna be in hiding. Like I'm not really telling people I'm hurt. Like we're just pretending here. So I'm gonna
Are you
pull a
like
Kate.
Kate
I'm
Middleton? I was
gonna
gonna
pull.
say like
I'm pull a Kate. I'm gonna
Kate
pull a
Middleton.
Kate Middleton, and I'm gonna be like photoshopping my leg. Like what
Come back
crutch?
a brand new person.
What crutch? Let's talk about Kate. Let's talk about
Oh,
Princess
Kate,
Catherine.
where are you?
Wherefore art thou?
Where's Waldo?
We need to talk about this. I do have a hot take on the situation. But we'll break it down really quickly. Like she had abdominal surgery in December, and the palace said that everything, like her appearances and everything, have been canceled until Easter, which is March 31st. That's a good 3 months plus from when her surgery was. So everyone was kind of like, what kind of procedure is she undergoing for it to take such a long time for recovery that she's out for the count until Easter?
Hmm.
And then it started to get even worse when like she made no public appearances, which is like rare. And then fueling that fire further, they drop a photo on British Mother's Day and they're like, she's basically photoshopped into the photo. So now like people are running rampant with these ideas of like where she actually is. And social media does not fail with this one because
Nope.
some of the
Everyone's
theories
on
are
it.
absolutely batshit in the best way.
The only reason I know Kate Middleton was gone or like disappeared or like not in the social eye anymore is because of celebrities. Like Blake Lively was posting about it, Kim Kardashian. So then I was like, oh, now I need to like go in and look at the tea. And I feel bad because people that are posting about it, I feel like are getting backlash. Like people are saying they're insensitive. Like, she had surgery. How can you be like making funny? Which I think people are sensitive. Like it's not that serious.
It's really dramatic and not that serious, but it's interesting that celebrities have now joined the bandwagon because celebrities weren't doing it until it was so overplayed on social media that they like started making like poking fun at the joke and like getting in on it. But it's like it's such an odd like juxtaposition because like they're normally those people too that like are in the position of Kate. So I thought that was interesting, but there were so many memes too, like before celebrities hopped on the bandwagon that I thought were so funny. Like, I don't know if you saw the ones that were like people taking screenshots like of their Google search, like how long does it take to recover from a BBL, and it says 3 months. And that's how long they're saying. It's just interesting too that like she had this surgery and then like she disappears from the face of the earth, and every image or anything of her appears to be doctored. So it's like, really, where are you?
Yep, girl, if you get a facelift, let us know.
I know. The ones about Pete Davidson, like her leaving with Pete Davidson, are so funny.
I feel like it makes it fun because she's so relevant, and then now it's like putting light to her. So I just can't wait till she like comes out, and I'm so curious if it's like more than just the abdominal, surgery. So
Yeah.
we'll
I thought
see.
it was hysterical how when the edited photo came out, which was like a big deal because the Associated Press, who like distributes the image out, and as a journalist, like my news station took that photo and we had put it out as if
Mhm.
this was a photo from the palace, like an official photo. And then the AP issued a kill notice, which is a big deal in journalism, and then you have to provide like an explanation as to why you're pulling it and like
Mhm.
whatever. And so now all these outlets, including ours, had to like take it down and
Yeah.
issue something as to why. And it's just so crazy. Like that was serious. Then Kate comes out and was like, makes a little statement on Twitter, and she's like, oh, sorry guys, like as many amateur photographers, like I was experimenting with editing and like I didn't do my best. Like, homegirl, nobody believes that your ass is sitting there on Facetune, okay, editing the royal ass official Mother's Day photo. Like nobody thinks that you're doing that.
I'm dead. No judgment.
No, no judgment, but you know what people really think happened is that her and the prince are not doing well. Like
Oh, people are
possibly
quick to talk, make up scenarios. I mean,
they're not together, and there's some
mm.
cheating rumors going on his behalf, and they're
Oh.
trying to like, it's so funny how they feel like they've put up this front always, like they have to like basically lie to like save face all the time. So
Hmm.
it's not like beneath them to like come up with some elaborate lie. She may have had surgery, but like as far as like her not being around for all this time, like people are inclined to believe it because like it could be that they're stretching this into whatever reason for her to show up until like the holiday comes up.
Hmm. Honestly, it makes me happy I'm not like in the limelight like that. Could you imagine? Like, you can't even disappear for a few months without people assuming things.
I
So it's
know.
like it's kind of sad.
I have a really hot take on this situation. Like, I know we're talking about it and we're just like having fun with it right now, but I believe with Kate, I kind of cringe when I see stuff continue to be pushed out there now to the degree that it's gotten at this point. And I
Hmm.
feel like, okay, we're addressing it because it's a topic of conversation and it's trending. And we need to at least acknowledge like what people are talking about. But in
Hmm.
my opinion, the degree that it's gotten out there gives me pause because ever since I saw a medical professional's opinion, she had been writing about it on somebody, I think it was like in the comment section of someone's TikTok that I saw. And she said that her belief, that she strongly believes that Kate has a colostomy bag because sometimes when you have some sort of abdominal procedure, you have a bag for a temporary period of time and then they reverse it.
Hmm.
And it's an embarrassing thing, especially for someone who's like held as a princess, and the way that they're so like proper and like untouchable and everything's perfect and sunshine. Like this is a very probably private time for her. So I'm
Hmm.
nervous that, and I feel for her. Every time I see something, I get a little bit like, oh, like I know it's so fun for the world, but if it's really that she has a bag, that would be just so tragic that it's been made into this
Yeah.
thing and she can't have her private moment.
Well, honestly, I feel like too, like maybe even if it's not that, like maybe her recovery is just very slow. Maybe they
Yeah.
want to make sure she's 100 before going out or anything. But regardless, I feel like when you're in that life, she's gonna expect this to happen, and she seems super strong. So I'm sure we wish you the best if you are just recovering, and
Yes.
you'll be back soon. I'm sure.
Yes. Kate. And if you got a BBL, we also wish you the best and
Girl,
we're
here
cheering you
for it.
on, girl.
Here for it.
Honestly.
Oh.
Well, we can get into the book because now that I've had all this downtime with only one leg, I was able to catch up on reading, and we read The Way I Hate Him by Meghan Quinn, chapters 8 through 15 this week. And we had some good big things happen in this section of the chapter,
Yeah.
so I figured we could dive into it.
Yeah, so it ends off where she has her friend Maggie coming to visit, and Maggie loves these cookies that she tried when she was in her town once that her sister makes. So she asks Hayes if she could use his kitchen to make it because where she's staying doesn't have a kitchen.
Mhm.
So that was super exciting. And I knew when she brought up the cookies he was gonna want to help, and I knew he was gonna love them. So I was like, oh, this not only is Maggie gonna love them, Hayes is gonna love the cookies too.
Yes, and that was such a cute little thing to do together. And he's never baked before. And it was just like an intimate
It
little
was cute.
moment for them. So precious.
I love their
And
banter.
yeah, they're so fun. Like you could just feel that tension the whole time. And they're playing that typical game where it's like, no, I'm not supposed to like you. And, so that was so interesting. And I love when Maggie does come to town. She is just such a firecracker. She reminds me of us sometimes too. She's
I
so
love her.
funny.
So
I
funny.
love their friendship, and she like empowers her to be like, "Girl, just do you. Go get him." Like I
Yeah.
love that attitude.
Yep. I feel like she doesn't sugarcoat anything, Instead, she's like, if you want to go forward, your family may not like you anymore, but it may be worth it. So,
Yeah, but she
do what you
didn't
want.
say that at first. Okay, she kind of said that shit when it was too late.
When it was
At
too late,
first, she came in and she was all in the universe. Like,
Mhm.
first of all, I love how Hayes admires her sense of music and then, like, challenged her and was like, "Do you have a playlist with my stuff?" And she's like, "No, look, like, check it out." And there was nothing for him to see. And then eventually Maggie comes. That day, the pool was when everything really got heated. Like, even Hayes knew, like, shit, she's going to be at my house in a bikini with her friend. Like, forget it, I'm done. So they're at his house. They're by the pool. They're drinking. But I love when Maggie was talking to Hayes and was like totally overcome by like the superstar Hayes that he is. And like Hayes, the musician, not the person that we've known. And she was like, "Oh my God, like we used to listen to your music. Like Hattie has this playlist, like
Such a fangirl.
completely threw her ass under the bus."
Yep, she was so embarrassed, and he was there for it. He loved it.
He was dying inside.
Yeah.
And then he was like, "No, I'm not going to drink with you, whatever." And then ends up drinking with her. Well,
He ended up
drinking
getting way
separate.
alone, yeah, because he wrote a
Separate,
song.
sorry.
Yeah,
Yes.
but he couldn't publish a song because it was about her. So
Yes.
he's like, "Great, I write a song. I like a girl I shouldn't like. I'm going to drink it away."
Yes, yes. That's what I meant. He ended up drinking, not with her.
Drinking, yeah.
But I was like, I knew, first of all, there was all this writer's block for so long. And then he starts to get these feelings with Hattie around, and it inspired him. Like she's his muse. And I knew it. I knew it that he was gonna like sit and write after that moment. I could feel it. So that was cool that he like, felt inspired. Then he drinks. Then they run into each other. She's in his hoodie, no panties on. She knew what you
A
were
little
doing.
bit of fun, but I don't know. I felt bad for her because I was just like, when they were going to tell her side on how everything unfolded, I was like, she's going to be embarrassed. She's going to be like, he didn't want me back. I had to finish myself up. Like, and it was a lot, So I was just like, oh, I see her. But then I was also like, good for you, girl. Like, you put yourself out there. You didn't let it ruin anything. You still had your fun. And
then you took care of your damn self.
Exactly. You don't need no man.
No, girl. And you know what? Some men will do it for you, and then you still won't get there, and you got to do it yourself.
Or like the ex won't know where to touch.
Yeah, like honest to God, I can't. But but in all seriousness, Hattie's going through it, and she's feeling something with Hayes, and she's in a vulnerable spot, and I think everything is going to affect her even more heavily. And she's like, "Damn, like this person I actually like feel for and I actually relate to, and like there's something deeper here, and like he doesn't even want me. Like it's the last thing she needs in this moment, and she just wants to feel like wanted and cared for." And he was trying to be respectful and like not come on to her because of more reasons than just one. It's like, okay, she's drunk. You don't want to take advantage of her. Okay, she's your like enemy's sister. Okay, she is
12
your
years
employee. She's
Mm-hmm.
12 years younger. Like, I get it. Like, he was just trying to fight it, even though she, like, fully put herself out there for him. But then
Yeah,
we
I
did
feel
have
like
a lot more of those moments, like, over time.
at first I was just like, oh, the teasing is so annoying. Like, but then I
Yeah.
was like, he's such a gentleman, like I love that he's not like, and he was respectful, but also you could tell he cares. So when she would get so uptight and annoyed about, you know, it's coming from a good place. So I was like, shut up. He's a
Yeah.
nice guy.
Yes. And I think too, for a while, like, in the beginning for me, it took a minute to, like, get into it because I felt like they all of a sudden were so into each other so quickly and it didn't really
Mm,
build. So I didn't mind that it, like, slowed down a little bit because it's like it came off like, so that was already like the smut was already happening like
mm-hmm.
early on. So I was like,
Yeah.
okay, at least we'll, like, build a little bit. And I think, like, eventually what we saw towards the end was like a gentleman taking care of her, making her feel comfortable, and then
Mm-hmm.
was able to, like, kiss her and whatever. So
Yeah.
in the right way, it happened.
Mm-hmm. Or even when I'm sorry, we're like skipping a little ahead when
Yeah,
she did
no.
get drunk because it was her sister's birthday coming up, and there was a lot going on. Like I thought it was weird that she wouldn't open up to him. Like there was things that even when she had the dinner and she did find out everything, which
Yes.
I felt like I also knew that it was going to be tied to her school, that was going to be her sister's
Yep.
like
We
last thing she wanted. We called that
predicted this last episode. Yep.
because it was way too the way they kept like talking about him. I was like, I feel like Cassidy definitely wanted that to be a thing and not let the death get in the way of that. But he was such a gentleman when she was drunk, and he didn't care that people in town were talking about it. He just wanted her to be okay. And in that moment, I was just like, "Oh, this is going to be the night. This is when it's going to happen." And
Yeah.
then, of course, like he didn't want to take advantage because he was super wasted and very
Yes.
fragile. But that part was just, and then when you get to the next chapter of like her brother knocking on the
Yes.
door, I was just like, "This is what I've been waiting for."
Yes. So before we get to that part,
Yes, I'm
we
sorry. Go ahead.
had to dissect this because we're talking Hattie and Hayes right now. But
Hmm.
let's do the family piece and, like, finding out.
Well,
And
we can,
then,
yeah, and then they go to San Francisco, so we can, yeah.
yeah. So there was a part where we're still not understanding why Hattie's family is not letting her in. And then she finds out that her family went on, like, their weekend trip to the forest. Even Abel went.
What?
And she's talking to Abel and she's like, "What the hell? Like, my own ass family didn't invite me and you went." And he's like, "Oh, well, it's probably because your friend was in town and they didn't want to be weird." And she's like, "They didn't even know." And we could feel this distance that wasn't normal for a while, which I don't like the way they went around it. I understand why they did this now, but I still don't like their method. But basically, we come to find out that exactly like what we said last episode, and you, like, spearheaded this prediction. So props to you. Yes, queen.
I can write all books now.
Yes, that's fucking right. And we kind of said, like, okay, she has to complete school, like, it's probably in her will, literally, is what we said, that it's like a term that she has to finish. So they're all,
Mhm.
like, disappointed in her, and she doesn't even know why. So then when they find out that she failed out, at which is completely, let me just say, completely understandable, they
Mhm.
all kind of freak out, especially Aubrey, that she didn't finish her semester and needs to do a whole other semester in order to
What were
even be
your
able to help with the farm and all that.
what were your thoughts on how Aubrey reacted?
Hated. Like, I
Really? I
literally
was
wrote
there
down,
for it.
I was like, I'm annoyed with this bitch, Aubrey. I wrote that in my notes because let me tell
I
you
love
something.
her.
He was like, all she had to do was graduate. All
Which is
she had to
true.
do.
Which is
No,
true.
no, girl. It's not true. She failed her midterms. Let me tell you something.
But I
I
feel like
feel
she's
this
not the only one who lost a sibling. Like I
so
agree with Aubrey. I'm like, she had to take on a new business. He has to
no.
raise a kid. Like, all she has to do is finish school.
I couldn't
I
feel
agree.
more opposite because maybe it's because of the nature of the job that I have with, like, I am a writer. Like, I do a lot of
Mhm.
research as a journalist. Like, I'm writing, pumping out words. And when I am trying to retain information, when I have shit going on in my
It's hard. Yeah.
life, I can't focus. I reread the same thing over and over. If I had to memorize that stuff, do you know how unwell I would be? There's a difference between going through the motions of your day and like doing something based on tasks, like, okay, warm up the kids' food. Like, you don't have to feel good doing it. You can trudge through life. Like, if I have to take care of my dog and he's sick and I have to do all his meds and this and that and the other, I'll just go through the day and I'll do it. And I won't be well, but I'll get it done.
Mhm.
Imagine having to sit and memorize for all of your classes, like information, like past your midterms. That type of focus, like having your brain like do that, I think is so very much harder. Like sometimes when I'm going through it, I wish I had like if I worked like in my mom's restaurant, which she works so hard I can't even. But
We
like
love
if I
you.
had, yes, love you, mommy. If I had to like, if I was down and I'm like, busting tables or like running around with plates, like, okay, distracted, like getting shit done. I'm exhausted, mind, body, soul, but like sitting and writing and researching, like having to like really like comprehend what I'm reading when I'm
Mhm.
not in a good mental space, to me is
Mhm.
so much harder
Yeah. No,
than
I know, I agree. I feel like people like grieve in their own way, but I also feel like I don't I get it. Your sister passed away, you were super close. I get the whole feeling. That's I would have never been that hard on her. Like it's happening. You could finish. Just go back next semester. It is what it is. But I also think like yes, her brother and sister have been distant, but they also lost someone too. They took on huge like I feel like she was more annoyed about the disconnect, but I also feel like she needed to be a little understanding. They don't have time to baby her and think about her when they have other shit going on. So that's
yeah,
more what it was. Like I'm not upset that she failed out of school and they were disappointed and all that stuff. Like that shit
yeah,
happens. But I also think like I think where they're at now is such a great place. I love the way the book unfolded with their relationships now. So I feel like it's perfect. And we
yeah.
saw that her brother and her sister are more human. They
Yes.
just wasn't trying to push her away. It just kind of happened.
Yeah, I think also like the emotions are heightened and she was probably so
Exactly.
frustrated and it just
Hmm.
all came out when she found out the truth at once,
Hmm.
which also you've been hiding shit from your own sister. I don't think they should have handled it that way. Like I think
Hmm.
they could have told her up front, like, listen, this was her wish and we're gonna help do whatever to help you get there. Like
Yeah.
just focus on just that. Like it shouldn't have been like kept a secret to just like let her do it. Like
But then again, if that didn't all happen, she wouldn't have met Hayes and like she would have never
for
had that
sure.
internship. So I feel like it was all meant to be, but I feel like there was fault on both ends.
Yeah, no, for
Hmm.
sure. I mean, I believe strongly, like that's how life works. Like the
Hmm.
plan, the way that it happens is the way it's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
And you may not think you want to go down a certain road, and that could be the best thing that's ever happened to you. So, all things
Yeah.
considered, like everything unfolded as it should have, and everybody came around. I think even Aubrey had said, like, Rylan was saying like give her a chance, let her do it. Like they did put some thought into like whether they were going to tell her or not. They did what they thought was best in that moment, and they probably were just frustrated, like they also lost their sister.
Yeah, 100%. Like everyone grieves so differently. And I'm just happy they told her the truth. I'm happy she was able to move on from it. Even with her brother finding out about Hayes, I feel like what happened with Cassidy and Abel, he was like, I don't want that to happen again.
Yeah,
So he's like, I feel like he's a great brother, great
yeah,
uncle. He's a great dad to
yes,
Mackenzie. So I feel like they're going to be one big happy family.
yeah.
It
So when we go to the part that you were talking about when Ryland is like banging on the door,
was
oh
here
my
for it.
goodness, I was like, next chapter, quick.
I know.
Oh my goodness, they fought. And of course, it turns out the stupid story is not even what really happened.
Yeah, crazy over a girl, and it wasn't even true. I was just like, what?
Over a girl, okay, dramatic. Over getting a girl pregnant, I would understand. If
But she
I had a friend,
miscarried too, so it was just like it's not like he had a kid running around. It was just weird, the whole
yeah, but I
reasoning. Yeah.
can't imagine like if my ex was with my friend and she got pregnant by him, no matter what happened. Like
Oh yeah, it just wasn't
that
true
friend is
though. Yeah.
dead to me.
Oh,
But yeah, it
100%.
wasn't true. Like, how do you not even investigate it at
And
all?
Abel like knew. Why wouldn't Abel like say anything? He could have mended this friendship a while
That
ago.
is crazy.
So
That
crazy.
is beyond.
Were you crying reading Cassidy's
Letter?
message letter to? Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, bawling.
Crazy. So everyone had a letter. We know. Okay, Cassidy doesn't have a letter, and she's of course sitting there all confused. We know she has a letter somewhere, and I think it's somewhere like in the house, or like in like an area that like is special to Cassidy and Hattie, maybe that she
Hmm.
knows that she'll go there and find it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be in her room. The brother hasn't been in there. They don't really want to go in there. You know, it's too sad for them. So I think she left it in the room knowing her sister may be there to help clean out stuff.
Yeah, for sure. And I love how
Hmm.
they were like, no, we don't know why she didn't leave you one. Like, no one's gonna be like, no, I'm sure it's somewhere. Come on,
Yeah,
like you guys
yeah.
know.
Foreshadowing. I know she's going to have one.
So
Hmm.
silly. But I
And
love
it's going to be like, I left you everything once you graduate. No.
yes, literally, for sure. I wanted to die when like we find out that Abel's letter was that Cassidy told him that she loved him. I could cry right
Oh,
now.
girl,
That
I bawled
killed.
reading it. The one to Hayes too, and she's like, you know, you were like a brother. I couldn't believe everything that happened with Sam, and but regardless, I want you to be there for my kid. And then, of course, to bring up Hattie, I was like,
Yes.
she saw that coming.
I love how they were like every letter, like they were saying that she was saying that she wanted Rylan and Hayes to make up, and
Makeup.
she knew Hayes had to be there for her brother. And
And you know he has a good heart. Yeah.
this girl, like, why did she have to die? I'm like, she's the best one of
I
all of
miss
them.
her, and I don't even know
I
her.
know. I'm like, Cassidy.
Oh.
This is actually really cool the way she like weaves in like we're learning things and like getting to know her
It's
and
like
like
we know
through
her
her
exactly.
pieces of her.
Hmm.
So I really like that choice for sure.
Can we? Okay, my thing too. Like when we finished the chapters, it's where Hattie's like ignoring him, and he's trying to
Oh,
apologize, and
yeah.
the brother gave the blessing, sister gave blessing, Abel's I'm sure okay with it too, and I'm just like, why is she being so stubborn? Like I know she wants to grieve in herself, like but she was all over this man, all
Yeah.
over, and now you know he's a great guy, and you're like, not. I don't
I
get
think
it.
she was annoyed too because like he kept the letter a secret and all this stuff. Like she was just
Mm.
like, but
It was
it's
a lot.
really it's a lot. I have to say, Miss Ethel is working overtime.
That
I
girl.
kept writing like drama queen, this bitch. Like I
She's in
take notes as
everything.
I'm reading it. They're so funny because I really want to find like exactly what I wrote. Oh, I wrote Ethel with the drama. Like there's a couple different things that I wrote, but it's just so fun. Oh, Ethel is a sneaky little bitch because she's
Respect your elders, Alina.
because she's like that town like gossip
Gossip, yeah.
that she went and shared that like Hattie and Hayes were like seen going off together in the night, and that's how Rylan learned about it. I was like, you little ho ho,
Little
shut
sister.
your mouth.
But then I was also like, yes, because she helped like
Yes,
everything unveil.
of course it helped progress the story, but what
Yeah.
a little crazy.
Yeah. Every
You
town has one of those.
you know what's so funny? My cousin Athena and I in the little village, like the little island that we're from in Greece, like all the old ladies know each other. And like
No,
in
I believe
Greece
it.
too, the time it's so different there because you go to dinner at like 10, 11 o'clock at night. And so you start your night, that's dinner. So when you go out, you're going out super late. Like it doesn't get good till like 1 a.m. So we
Hmm.
were getting home in like the early hours of the morning, and the grandmas are like sweeping the porches, like the yayas are out there, and they're all communicating and they're all
Oh.
telling each other. So we would get like our family and my grandma would get like a report on us and where we were and who we were seen with and what we were doing. And oh, they were
Can't get
on
away
the
with shit.
Vespa with this guy. Yeah. And we would know everything about us through our grandma. And we're like, oh, really? What else did they say? Yeah, yeah. Like, let us
Mm,
know.
love it. Well,
It's
I mean,
so
it
funny.
keeps the town safe, I'll tell you
It's
that.
I know that's exactly what Ethel reminded me of. I was like, "Yep, you got nothing better to do. Whatever, just like live."
I want to do predictions.
Okay, go ahead.
I have one big one. So his
Yes,
grandmother, she keeps saying she's gonna
love
die in
her.
6 months, die in 6 months. I think it's foreshadowing. I think that him and Hattie are obviously gonna get together, and the grandmother's gonna be so happy, and she's pushing this grandbaby thing. So I think when she does pass, Hattie's gonna be pregnant. Maybe I'm
Mm,
getting ahead of myself, but I feel like it has to have a happy ending where the grandmother kind of gets her way, where she gets to be a grandmother.
yes,
But And I think they're gonna have like a wedding, maybe to shotgun in when she's sick, because they want her there for that. So I feel like the grandmother's gonna be way more involved than we think, especially because they keep bringing back the "I'm dying in 6 months, I'm dying in 6 months." So it's
Yeah.
very weird.
At the very least, I agree that there has to be a baby because that's like
Hmm.
some part of it. And yes, maybe once she gets the grandchild, then she can go.
Or maybe that'll save her. She'll be like, "Oh, I don't feel
Yes,
like I'm
I'm
dying
good
anymore."
now. My hip is great. Yeah, I think at least like a kid or something will come out of it.
Mhm.
And then again, my prediction, which is pretty much inevitable, is that
She'll have a
in
letter.
some special place, I think in the house, she will
Hmm.
find her letter.
Agreed. I think it'll be a place that's maybe sentimental to them, maybe under a jar of pickles that she left in the room for
Oh
her.
my God. Yes, I think somewhere sentimental. Or like I feel like it'll be somewhere and the letter's gonna be like, I knew you'd find this here. Like I just
Oh
like,
yeah, and I think her letter is going to be very like, "I'm so proud of you. You're one of my best friends. Like, everything I did would like leave. I know you're going to help out. I know you're going to move back home.
yeah.
I'm excited for my daughter to see me through you. Like, I think I'm going to be bawling like I have
The build up for this
been."
letter, it's gonna be the best one. We already know that.
Hmm.
I know I'm gonna be sobbing, just like you said. I was just about to
Oh.
say that. Because
I
we've
just
been
want to
waiting.
say too, with the sobbing,
Yeah.
while I was reading, I sent Alina a Instagram like snap of
Yes.
me bawling from reading the book.
Yes. And I hadn't
Tearjerker.
gotten to the part yet. And you know what? I told Amanda, this is growth because normally Amanda would have to suggest in some way what is happening. So I was so proud of her for just letting me experience it
I
and
didn't give
just,
anything away.
yes. But I knew exactly when I got to the part, which part you were crying at because that's what
Oh,
got
girl,
me
I was
too.
crying the whole like last 3 chapters.
Yeah.
My boyfriend
Yes.
was like, "You are ridiculous." I'm like, "It's so
Or
sad."
were you reading on Kindle?
I was on the Kindle.
You see, isn't it such a better experience? And you feel like you're retaining it more, don't you?
I like that I can picture the people myself too. The audio
Yes.
ruins it sometimes because then I'm like,
Yes.
now I feel like you sound like a little bitch and I can't picture this hot man.
Yes. That was like when I tried to do it with Fourth Wing and the dragons were like, and I was like, oh my
The
God.
dragon.
I was like, what's going on? Relax. Because it'll
I'm
be
dead.
like, and he said no. And then in the audio, it's like, no. And I'm like, this is tart.
You didn't like
Tart.
Tarn's voice?
I mean, honest to God, she really tried with that. She put her whole chest into
I
Tart's
am
voice.
dead. That was so funny.
Oh my
But I'm so
gosh.
excited. I enjoy the book the more I read it. Like I feel like I
Yeah.
like the sentimental parts. I like the emotional parts. I don't care for the intimate parts because nothing really happens. I
Yeah.
don't care. I love her friendship with I love her friendship with Maggie. I think she's awesome. Aubrey, I feel like I like her. I know she can grow on you a lot more. Her brother's
Yes.
awesome. I'm so excited because I know they're gonna end up together. I'm just
Yes.
wondering now, like, is he gonna go back on tour, then have to leave her there? Is he gonna like retire and just write music from there? Like, what is? I'm just obviously the song he wrote about her. I think is gonna be his next big hit.
Yes. Electric Sunshine, which I keep wanting to call it Eternal Sunshine because Ariana Grande just dropped her Eternal Sunshine album. Go get it on all platforms. Okay.
This is not a sponsored.
I love it. This has nothing to do with the book, but we can dissect this another time.
Ariana better repost this after you telling people to go buy her album.
You know what? I'm starting to feel really bad. I think she's like very misunderstood. I've been watching a lot of episodes. We really don't know the truth. And this album has really changed my perspective. A lot of interviews that she's done. I feel like there's a lot more in anybody's life. We won't really know the truth. And we can all look at it from an outside lens and judge.
No
But
one's perfect.
I'm
Yeah,
going to just let her be herself, and I'm cheering her on. And her
she just
album
wants you to
has
change your hair color.
just touched me so much. Yes, I do. I would love for you to go back brunette, but be who you want to be, girl. Be who
Yeah,
you
no
want to
hate
be.
here. All right, girl, we're rooting for you. We hope
Yes,
you come back
my
and
queen.
stay away from married men.
And oh my
because-
goodness, her video.
the
Can't
video
watch
was
it
good.
without
The video was
sobbing.
really good.
Cannot
Yeah, no.
watch it without sobbing. It's
Yeah,
the
it
We
was a
Can't
really
Be
good
Friends
video.
video.
Mhm.
Can't handle it. Anyways, for next week, we are finishing The Way I Hate Him by Meghan Quinn. We are reading chapters 16 to 25. Amanda Gurley, do you want to plug in our socials?
Yes, if you're watching on YouTube, please make sure to subscribe. We're also on TikTok, Instagram, and Threads at Book Please Podcast. You could like us and follow us on Facebook as well, which is Book Please Podcast. And then we're also on Twitter/X at Book Please Pod. Thanks, guys.